Yeah. Good evening and good morning, all. Welcome to a Vtap partner webinar. Thank you all for taking your precious time out and being here. So we will be working on a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. And I think you need not worry. Please focus on the webinar. We will send out the video recording after the session. I would like to quickly introduce CEO Srinivas. I think most of you would have interacted and you had your conversations, and also our technical lead, Mr. Vikash, who will be taking us through the session. Off to you, Srinivas.
And thank you. Thanks, Harish. Thank you all again for joining. I think in the midst of all what's happening outside, we appreciate that you've spared some time. So this is actually something that we have been working on for almost last 6 to 8 months, and kind of building on some of the things that we have done over the last 2-3 years. So what we're going to be focusing on today is something new we are previewing, and we'll be launching soon. And today we just wanted to give you a preview of what we are launching in the next 1 week. So the short name for this is Vtap, and it stands for Vtiger Application Platform. And I think you guys are probably, this will not be too different from what you might have seen in general in the industry when it comes to tools and the trends recently. The vision we have is to make Vtiger, convert it from a tool, which as a CRM tool, to a platform which opens up many possibilities. And the goal is to allow developers and administrators to extend the CRM capabilities when it comes to meeting the needs of customers. And these are outside the realm of CRM, within the realm of CRM. And when I say CRM, I'm talking about sales automation, marketing, help desk, and all that. Within the realm, you might have integrations with third-party systems. There are enrichment tools, then there are integration tools with accounting systems and all, and internal tools. There's so many things that an enterprise uses, so you want to really play with them. And there are also custom flows, custom even UI artifacts, UI elements that need to be added. And so far, we could not enable that on the cloud platform because of some concerns around the code that is developed by third parties running within the cloud platform, right? And when we are looking to offer high performance and high security, we needed to have some ways to govern what code is running on the platform. And over the last couple of years, we have actually given we have kind of tried to stress the boundary of what we can allow. And we have done a customizer which allows custom code to be running on the client side to manage or modify some of the elements on the client. But today what we are trying to do, and this has been an initiative that started almost 7-8 months back, and we have our CTO Prasad, I think, also on the line, and Sivakumar and Vikas. They have been some of the best minds on our engineering team have been just focused on this and trying to bring together this platform to make whatever we are providing as a platform, as a tool, really convert it to a platform and allow you to build capabilities that you need to meet the needs of your customers. So that's really what we are trying to do, to extend CRM capabilities through low-code and no-code tools. So we'll talk about low-code tools in more detail today. But before I let Vikas dive in, and Vikas will be taking the lead in showing the capabilities of the low-code tool, I wanted to just share some background on what we mean, right? If you look at the news around, if you're looking at following the technology trends and development trends, this is what you probably have been seeing, right? So low code, and this is on venturebeat.com, which is a technology news site. And here you see why you should be paying attention to no code and low code. And I'm sure these words, no code or low code, are not new. You might have already heard about this quite a few times. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, just turn on the video. I assumed my video was on. I realized I did not turn it on. So yeah, I think this is one headline, and you'll see many headlines if you just go to Google and search, and I'm sure you might have seen it in your news feeds over the last 1 or 2 years. So this is another related headline. It says, okay, Create.io raises $68 million for a low-code enterprise process automation. And Create.io is just one of the companies. There's so many companies like Appian and so many other companies that are really focused on this low-code automation. And if you see here, like Create.io specifically has been named a strong performer in the Salesforce automation solutions, right? Again, this need of low-code, no-code platforms is increasing. And in fact, there was one headline I'll just share here. Right, that 65% of the application development will be low code by 2024. And what do we mean by low code? Here, you don't have to probably write serious Java code and all that, because now you're going to get these higher level building blocks on which you can write the business logic and whatever elements you need to have to meet your business flows, right? So that is really what low code means. And no code basically means even that part is removed and you don't have to write any code, right? So there's also that part of it. And in Vtiger, no code has been there in a way when you look at workflows and assignment rules and things like approval workflows and all, right? These are all things you can just set up without writing any code. This is already, and there are 50, 60 different pages within the settings where you have all those controls to customize it. But that is within the scope of the CRM. Now, how do you extend, right? So for example, module builder has been there in Vtiger. That allows you to create a new module. That is extending without writing any code. So that's been there, right? So, but we are trying to increase the boundaries to really create vertical solutions, create certain flows. And this is something we are in a way catching up to some of the trends. But in terms of the platform around CRM, we are really feeling it. It really puts you as a partner, as a developer for the customer, in a position to turn around on those needs and the requirements from the customers. So today, for example, there was a requirement from one customer to add some LinkedIn integration or to bring in some details like skills from LinkedIn to Vtiger when we get in a profile, or to maybe add profile enrichment of getting information from Clearbit or ZoomInfo about a given contact, right? So how can we integrate? These are things usually that are in our queue of things to do. But with this platform, with Vtiger Application Platform, you don't have to wait for us. So that's really what. And this is just an example of what is possible. So if you see here on this screen, the things that are actually highlighted in red. So the weather details, this is a contact record. On a contact record, if you want to show the weather details, obviously this is not the way probably you'll show it, but they were just showing it in the big box here to show that you know the possibilities, right? You can show the map, you can take the city from the contact, the city of the contact, and then in this case it is Singapore. So it went to using an API of a third-party weather website and got the weather details today for that contact. So when you talk to the contact, you probably use that to have a good conversation. Similarly, if you see these buttons at the top, we can send information, post the details of this contact to a Slack channel, right? Or similarly, get more details about the contact from Clearbit through a third-party API, right? So the Clearbit APIs. So these are just some samples. There's a lot of possibilities with what we are building on, and there's so many things. And I think I'll let Vikas take over right now. So Vikas, it's all over to you.
Thank you, Srinivas. Let me share my screen. So my screen is visible?
Yep.
Thank you, Srinivas. Thank you for the setting the base for this series of webinar. So to talk about the low code, I think Srinivas has already explained, what these tools mean, and I'm very sure you're already aware of these things. So what specifically Vtiger Cloud now has built these tools. So I'll go deeper into each of these tools and talk about it. So we have built two tools. One is a module designer and the other one is the API designer. So let me start with the module designer. Now, module designer is a tool which will let you write some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and add custom components in the Vtiger user interface. So again, in the user interface, you have so many different things, and very often business needs keeps changing, and they would want to add something to the UI, or they would want to add a new page, or they would want to bring some information from different applications into this. Now, Module Designer will let you do those things. It will let you customize the UI. It will let you add things to it. It'll also help you remove things from the UI. This needs a little bit of knowledge in terms of HTML and JavaScript. So some of the use cases, just to add to this, is now if you want to add a button to a page, if you want to add a widget to a particular page or a detailed page, if you want to add an icon somewhere on the top, which basically appears in all the pages, or if you want to create a brand new page with all your custom business logic, then Module Designer will help you out there. So these are the use cases. That is where Module Designer will shine. This is a sample screen of the Vtiger current Vtiger. This is a list page of deals module. You can see those things that are highlighted. Now these are these custom components that have been added using this Module Designer. So you can add something to the top which will appear in all the pages. Or when you do a mass edit, you want to do a specific operation only for this record that is selected in mass edit. So you can add a button in the mass edit section. The third type of module is Embed Module. In the current situation, or in the recent times, we've seen companies more and more adapting a lot of applications to use. So for example, an enterprise company, they would end up using more than hundreds of different applications. And to connect to different applications, you really you cannot work without connecting all these different applications. So what Vtiger has given you an ability is to bring other applications inside Vtiger itself. So Embed Module lets you add other applications into Vtiger. So these are the three types of module that Module Designer at the top level it gives. Now, just to extend the capabilities, what apart from this it is giving you is, as I showed you in the previous slides, where you can add a button, you can add a widget, you can add an icon, you can add brand new pages having your own business logic. You don't like the the look and feel of the interface, you want to change something, you want to change the color, you want to change background, that is possible using Module Designer. You would want to add custom components which you're writing for the custom pages, that is also possible. You can add those custom components in your widgets also. I'll talk a little bit more about those components in a bit. And the final thing that this Module Designer gives you is an editor. This is an inbuilt editor inside the Module Designer tool, which will let you add all these small snippets of code, which will give you ability to add those pages, those buttons, those icons in the Vtiger interface. So the part where and you want to capture in detail, you want to get settings for that extension, or you want to write some deep analytics. These all needs a complete page, needs some full and actually use at page control on writing the logic, how it should.
1 second, because
should feel how. Yes, Srinivas?
I don't know if it's only for me, but some of your voice is breaking up. Has it been good for you, Harish?
No, Srinivas, voice is breaking.
Okay, just check something on your end, because is there any Wi-Fi thing you need to reconnect?
So I don't know whether that is possibly a reason.
Okay. Cool. Let's continue. I'll let you know.
Let me just. Pages. This is where you are adding. You want complete control over the page. You want to change the look and feel of the page, and you want to add your own components and business logics there. You use add page option in Module Designer. I'll show the demo in a bit. Now, this is one example. Srinivas was talking about a Clearbit integration. So Clearbit is an application that will give you profile details of a person if you pass them an email address. So by just giving the email address, they'll try and gather all possible public information of a person, which company he's working, what are his social profile details. Now, to do this integration, to talk to the Clearbit application, we had a need to uh, store their API key. Now, to store that, I wanted to give an interface. So this is the interface. This is the page that we built to capture that API key. So we store that API key inside, and when the user wants the enriched data, it will be available from it. So this is a page which was completely built using add page option in Module Designer. So next ability is that next thing is called as Tap script. Now this is a custom script that will let you add buttons, widgets, icons. So some of the use cases, let's say you want to add a button in Vtiger which on click sends a message to a Slack channel, or you want to export the data from the CRM to a Google Sheet, or you want to show a pop-up in Vtiger and then capture some user information from there, or you want to talk to MailChimp and get marketing list details from them. Now all this needs some interface in Vtiger, some buttons, some widgets, something to show in Vtiger. Now Tap script lets you do that. Now a small snippet of code is there at the bottom of the screen. If you see here, this is a small snippet which will let you add a button to a page. So we are using some APIs. These client JavaScript APIs. So you're passing the name where you want the button to appear and in which module you want it to appear. So with just using 2 to 3 lines of code, you can add a button to a particular page. So that is possible using Tap script. Tap style. Now Tap style lets you change the look and feel of the CRM. So you want to change the theme of the CRM, you want to bring in more colors, or you want to change the color of a button, or you don't like whatever right now Vtiger is giving. So if you want to change that, Tap style will let you completely customize the stylings, the look and feel of the CRM. So let me jump into a demo and just show you a quick demo of how you can add styles and how you can add button. So now this is Vtiger. This is where we have added platform. There's an app called as platform, and we have added module designer and API designer here. So when you click on module designer, this is what you see. So you can select modules here, and this is the place where you are actually adding scripts, styles, and new pages, custom pages, and here you can add modules. So to add a button to, let's say, a contact page. So I've already gotten a script. So this is a simple snippet of code that will let you add button to contact page. You're just saying vtap.component.register, give the name to it, give a component name to it, and the module details. And you are writing a small snippet of HTML here. Once you do this here, I will save and publish it. So I've given a name called as settings. I come to the contacts page. You can see this is the standard contact page. I'll refresh the page. You can see this is the button that was added. So with just few lines of code, we were able to add a button. Now, just to extend to this, I said we could add new custom pages. So using option this here, we can add pages. And when you add a page, a basic code is given here so that you need not add from the scratch. Now I've already published this. what I've done is I have hooked my button to open this particular page. So when the button is clicked, I open the custom page. So now I'll just click on the button. You see the page is changed. It gives me a brand new page with right now no content. But yes, this is now with it, this is where you can add your own logic. You want to add your own look and feel, you want to bring in components, whatever you want, you can actually bring in it. So this was an example of adding a script and adding a page. Now let's say I want to change the look and feel, I want to change some buttons color, or I want to change, let's take the menu as an example where I want to change the color. It's blue color, I want to change to something else. So using tap styles, I've just added one style. I've given a name to it. Now I'm just changing a bit of CSS, a little stylings. I'm changing the color to red. I'm saving and publishing it. Now once I refresh the page, you see the color is changed. The color is changed for both the types of menus. So this is how easy it is to add the components or to change the look and feel of the CRM interface. And this is all possible using Module Designer. Now, just like how you saw a button, we have added different hooks in the user interface of Vtiger and given name to it. So depending on your business needs, business logics, you can add different placeholders. You can see here, I've marked it here. Let's say if you want a particular icon which should appear in all the pages, then you basically add it here to the global action. So you just have to use and register. You have to use Vtap runtime. I'll talk about it a little bit, but you just have to remember these names, and there are different places where you can add your hooks to it. It can be in the each individual row. You can add it to the buttons. You can add to the top. You can add it to mass edit. This is the hooks in the list page. The similar set of hooks are also provided in detail page. You can add a widget to the detail page. You can add a button to the top. You can add more actions in the detail page here. You can add a widget here. A lot more things. Now this is just a small list of things that is possible. So since you've seen a little bit of how the module designer right now works, so there are slight requirements for it. There is some technical requirements for it. Since we are talking about low code platform, this means you need to still write small snippets of code, and writing those code needs a little basic understanding of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So having this knowledge will quicken the pace of adding and customizing these using Module Designer. And just to give an idea, to give a background about the framework, the Vtiger 9 framework that is built, we have built this framework on Vue.js. So having knowledge on Vue.js, which is another a reactive client framework similar to Angular and React. So this is also based on a similar concept, but this is much more lighter and much more easier and faster to learn. So if you have knowledge on Vue.js, then the working with Module Designer will become a piece of cake for you. So this is the technical requirements. Now, all these things are possible because of some of these JavaScript APIs that we have exposed. So we are calling them as Vtap runtime object. So this runtime object will give you ability to talk to Vtiger interface. It will let you add buttons. It will let you store data to CRM. It will let you retrieve those data if you want to show a pop-up, if you want to show a notification, if you want to perform an OAuth with a third-party application. That is also possible with Vtap object. So this is the engine, or this is the powerhouse behind the Module Designer, and I would also say the low-code platform that we have built. This is forming the base for the low-code platform in Vtiger. So till now, I've been talking about the Module Designer, what you can do with Vtiger interface. So I'll move to the next tool, which is the API Designer. So the name says API. So API designer will let you add these HTTP based APIs. So they will let you add, this tool will let you add custom APIs, and it will give you easy ability to integrate with third-party applications. Now to use these, to write these APIs, we have developed a language called as VADL, this Vtiger API definition language. So I'll talk about it in some time, but this API designer lets you add custom APIs. These are server-side APIs. Now, just to give again an example of where the problems or the use cases. Let's say you want to talk to and you want to get profile details from these profile enrichment tools like Full Contact and Clearbit. By passing phone number or email address, you want to get to know the complete background of them. What is the company they are working for? What is the background of the company? Now, this information is not within Vtiger. You need to talk to the other application, then external application, and get them. Slack, sending a message to a Slack channel. So let's say your team, your project team is working on the Slack, and you quickly want to discuss some information. You want to discuss about a particular lead or a contact with that particular person who is actually there on Slack and not in the CRM. So using this API design, you can quickly build those APIs and send those messages to Slack channel. Likewise, you want to connect to HubSpot, bring in their information in Vtiger, or send Vtiger information to them. That's possible. You want to get weather details of a particular contact using the country, using the city in which he's residing. And also, if you want to, let's say, export a data to a Google spreadsheet. Now, these all use cases means you have to connect to another application and either send the information or bring the information back to Vtiger. So what API designer does is you can treat this as like a middleware, which will let you interact with external applications. So either you can bring information into Vtiger, or you can send the information from Vtiger to the other application. Now, capabilities. So as I was saying, this API designer, it lets you add custom REST APIs. So if you're aware of the Vtiger APIs, right now we have some standard set of APIs which will let you create, which will let you update. These are standard APIs that we have given. Now, business needs change. You would want to have your own business logics. You want to bring in other capabilities. You can add your own custom REST APIs. If you want to connect with the other applications, third-party applications, those applications that have key-based authentication, or they are Oauth 2-based APIs, they have enabled Oauth 2-based APIs. Now, these all can be connected to Vtiger using API designer. So these are the capabilities. It lets you create custom REST APIs. It lets you connect with any application that has standard HTTP APIs. So now these APIs again depends on a language that we have defined. We are calling that as VADL, Vtiger API Definition Language, and the syntax and the working of it is loosely based on the XML. So if you understand XML, then this language is kind of an layer on top of the XML. So just to give you a small idea about what is how you can write the API definitions, or how you can build APIs. So we have given some abilities like, let's say, select, create, update, upsert. You can see here those examples that we have given. Those are some of these nodes, XML nodes, or Vtiger nodes that will let you talk to Vtiger, create things in Vtiger. The very important thing here is the REST. Now, when we talk about REST, basically it means that you want to connect to a external application. So REST node is used to connect to an external application. Now, again, there are a lot of legacy systems that has still not catched up on the HTTP. They're still using SOAP to connect to other applications. So that is also possible using the Vtiger API module. So let me now, I've been talking a lot about it, the module designer and the Vtiger, the API designer. So now let me give you an example of, how these both module can turn into a very rich set of tool and give you capabilities that can, interact with an external application. Now, Clearbit, as I said earlier, this is a application that will let you uh, get a particular person's profile information. You pass email address to it. It will try and send all possible public information about it. What is his Twitter account? What is his LinkedIn account? Which company he works in, what is his location, the details about his company, which where the company is located, what's its ranking, what its Twitter profile, what is its Facebook profile, etc., etc. So Clearbit lets you do that. Now, this is very important, or it'll be very useful for the sales team, to understand about a lead or a contact before, talking to him and, getting a business from him. So you want to understand, know a background about it. So Clearbit gives you all those information, so you can strike right set of conversations with him. So what we have done in Vtiger to solve this problem of where Salesforce sales teams actually get these background details. So what we have done is, you have to first write an API using API designer. I'll just put them in simple 4 steps. This is what you need to do. We are adding an API in API designer. Then we are adding a button in Vtiger in a contacts or a leads detail page. So when he clicks on that button, we will connect to the Clearbit API, get the details, whatever the Clearbit has, and then show that information in a pop-up. So this is a simple example where both the tools are used. The API designer is used to connect to the external system, and module designer is used to add those action elements in the Vtiger interface. So let me just show you a brief demo of it. So let me go to the contacts page. Now, I'm just pulling up one contact. Right now, this is Tim Cook of Apple. And what I've done is, we've basically added a button in the page here. So you can see this button here. Now, when I click on this button, it basically gathers the information from Clearbit, and then we are showing this in a beautiful, representable way. So this is what the details of Tim Cook is, what is his Twitter details, what is his company details. This was done now, this entire thing was done without touching anything into the core. So the platform tools that we have built is giving you this ability to connect to the external system and bring it in live into Vtiger. This is one such example. So you can see this is another example where we have connected to a weather application, which will send the details of the weather in the city where he's residing. This is details of California right now. The temperature is this, the sunrise time is this. Now this is again done the similar way, where an API is written and the Vtiger interface is connecting to that API and bringing that information here. The third example that I would want to show is the Slack. Now, connecting to a Slack channel and sending this particular record information. So as soon as I click on the button, I get the list of channels here. And when I click on the channel, it actually sends the message to the Slack channel. So this is what the ability or the capability of this current low-code platform that we have built using the combination of API designer and module designer. So I give you an example of the Clearbit, how we have written an API and a button that's connecting both and showing the details. So let me now dive a little bit into the the technical part of it. So now, how is this API written? So I spoke about API where we have defined a Vtiger API language, and this is how that API would look like. So every external system basically will, if you want to talk to that, you need a URL for it, and you need to pass some basic information that URL needs. Once that URL has the enough information, then it gives you back the data. So here we're passing the URL, and the email is appearing as a parameter. You can send different set of email address to get the details of it. And this is the API. Once you add this API, publish it. Now the API part is done. Now how do we add the button in the detail page? So I went quickly, I created an extension module. My extension module name is called as Clearbit. So as soon as I create extension module and I add a tap script, after I add a tap script, I just have to register to show a detail button. So this line, the third line says this is how you register a button. Only now I want this button to appear only for contacts module. So I say, just show this for the contacts module. Now, the button basically needs to have a basic HTML. So this is the template basically has HTML. And when you click on the button, now I have to talk to my API that I have added in API Designer. So when I click here, I call a function. This function is now connecting to the Clearbit API that I have written. So this is how Vtiger runtime now is able to connect to external third-party application, talk to them, bring in their information back into Vtiger or send it out. So after I get the information for Clearbit, I have to, make it look, I want to show that data into a pop-up. So I will rinse the data and make it in a presentable format. But if you see about 8 to 10 lines of code were with just these 8-10 lines of code, we were able to achieve an integration with an external application, this plus API Designer. So this was just one example of how both the tools were able to achieve an integration. So talking a little bit more about the API Designer itself. So API Designer is much more powerful. So it will let you connect to other external application, but also it will let you add these custom REST APIs. So if you are aware of the current Vtiger APIs, there are something called as create, there's something called as update. Now these are standard APIs that we have given. Now if you want to add new custom APIs, that is possible. This is a basic snippet of code of that API that I have added, which will select the contact if you pass an email address and you're returning only the first name and last name to it. Let's say you have an application where email addresses are there, or you want the CRM details to it. So using just this 6-7 line of code, you can actually generate or create these custom endpoints. Another example I would want to give here is, let's say you have an email address and they have changed their email address and you want to update that email address in Vtiger if that email address exists. So we are saying, update contacts module where the old email address is this, and update that old email address to a new email address. Now, this is again an endpoint that we have enabled. This is the custom REST endpoint, where once this endpoint is available, you can actually connect your other external applications and call these endpoints in Vtiger. Giving another example, now this is an Oauth based example. So if you're aware of the Oauth, where you are trying to interact or connect to other applications without really sharing any secret information like username or password. So Oauth lets you do that. And I want to send a message to Slack, using this Oauth mechanism. I can do it with simple. It's similar to the other Clearbit example, where you're passing a URL and you're saying that this is an Oauth based API. So you pick the Oauth details that Vtiger has saved and pass some information like which channel you want to post the details, and it will let you send that message to a particular channel. So this is another example of the API. So just to reiterate on where this API Designer would be useful is to integrate with other applications. So your application can be a HTTP based application that has APIs on REST, or it has Oauth APIs. With any set of APIs, you can connect with now Vtiger using this designer tool. some of the examples I've just said. Now, Google is a very good example of Oauth APIs, where almost all their applications support Oauth 2 APIs. So you can quickly connect to any Google app and interact with Vtiger. Likewise, I've given some more examples here. So this is all about the API designer and module designer. So it will let you interact with outside applications, or let's say if you have a need to build everything within the Vtiger application, then module designer will let you do this. So now, when is these tools will be available for you to get your hands on it? So May 19th is when we plan to release this tool, and this tools will be available to all the professional and enterprise editions. So any customer who is using Vtiger 9 professional enterprise edition. So right now we still have a lot of customers who are still using Vtiger 7. So unfortunately, this tool is only available for Vtiger 9. And the pricing, we felt, the business needs keep changing, and we have seen in last 1 year when the COVID, the pandemic has grasped the entire world. We know how the business has been changing, and with business changing, with the dynamics of the world changing, there are new requirements that the companies you come across. And using these tools, we feel that these will be helpful for the companies. This will be helpful for all the customers to build and quickly deploy solutions to to meet their business needs quickly. So in terms of documentation, yes, since this is a low-code platform, you would need to know a lot of examples and documentation. So we have set up a website for this, extend.vtiger.com/vtap. You will find all the documentation there. Right now, it is still yet not uploaded. This will be available by tomorrow morning. But just keep a note of this, that extend.vtiger.com is where you will get all your documentation for these two tools. Yeah, now I'll hand over it to Srinivas to take it from here. So thank you.
Thanks, Vikas. So good. I think what Vikas showed kind of gives you an idea that you can actually extend the capabilities with very little code. And today we focused on the low-code platforms. In the next version, I think, and that's what I want to talk about. Maybe let me share my screen. So we are releasing this in phases, and the first phase is focused on the low-code platforms, and there are two tools, as Vikas said, the designer, module designer, and then the API designer. So both of those will be available by next week itself, as Vikas said, the availability, and actually as soon as maybe by this Friday itself, if you want it to be installed on one of your instances, let us know, and we can make it available on your instance. But we have a few more things in the works in the coming months, starting with a new developer edition. Just like we have one enterprise sales professional and different editions, we are going to launch a developer edition specifically for developers to use for development of add-ons. So this edition will not be useful for you to use it. You cannot really run your business on the developer edition, but it is primarily for developing add-ons. So you can have a forever free edition just for building your extensions and building your and testing it. So you don't have to worry about that trial expiring on all that, right? This will be a forever free edition for developers with all the capabilities to build for you to build.